Welcome back to the WCBL Season 6, Week 2 versus Marina. This week we are bringing kind of a scummy set with, first off, Milk Tank, the leftover Sap Sister, Return, Thunderwave, EQ, and Milk Drink. I originally did have Fire Punch on this for Scizor, but felt like I had enough coverage for it on the rest of my team. So I decided on EQ for the Heatran instead. Bulky Thunderwave to paralyze stuff, kind of my win con, since this is an uphill battle, at least team matchup wise. Sap Sipper if she decides to bring Shaman. Don't want to be taking Specs Sea Flirts on my team. And yeah, then we have Answer Latias, Leftovers, Levitate, Defog, Wish, Thunderwave, and Psywave. Enough speed to outspeed a max speed Gyarados. Thunderwave once again to slow things down, and hopefully get full Paras, so I can hopefully hacks this. Psywave is a nice tech, does from half your level to 1.5 your level, so does from 50 to 150 damage, and hopefully get some rolls with that. And then we have Cobalion, Sugarberry, Justify, Volt Switch, Ironhead, Close Combat to Stealth Rock. Volt Switch is there for that Gyarados. Stealth Rock obviously helps chips down some things nicely. And yeah, outspeeds Shaman if she decides to bring it. Shuka is for an Earth Power from Shaman or maybe an EQ from Gyarados. And then we have Scorpio, the Choice Scarf, Darmanitan, Rockslide, EQ, Flare Blitz, U-Turn. Once again, outspeeds max speed. Gyarados without its scarf outspeeds everything on our team that does not have a scarf. That is most likely Shaman, Dugtrio, or the Jolteon. Even if the Gyarados is Intimidate, Rockslide should be able to do-shot it, depending on its bulk. Then we have a fun bring with Virgo, the Togekiss, Flying Z, Nasty Plot, at +2 should be able to one-shot everything on our team as long as it was like no AVs, which is real cool, and it can flinch stuff with air slashes that have been paralyzed. So once again, kind of going for that scummy win. Enough speed to outspeed Scizor, I believe. Max speed. I could be wrong on that though. Or maybe it was Garborder, one of the two. And then last but not least, Specs Rotom Frost with the Power Fire, Volt Switch, Blizzard, and Trick. It should be able to one-shot everything as well. Or at least two-shot things. And enough speed to outspeed. Maybe this was for max speed Scizor. Kind of made this team a while ago. Don't really remember, but without further ado, let us get into the battle. So she decided to bring the Scizor, Heatran, Murkrow, Dugtrio, and Jolteon, and Gyarados. Was what I was kind of expecting, except I was expecting Shaman over Murkrow, but that is fine. Anyways, looking at this team matchup, I will be leading with my Darmanitan. Does well as long as the Dugtrio is not scarfed. Can U-turn out of there. If she leads Heatran as her rocker, I can frighten out with an EQ. And yeah, so that is what I do. She decides to lead with Heatran, knowing that I threaten out with a Bandit EQ possibly. I decide to go for a U-turn. gain some momentum as she decides to go into her Gyarados. Right here, I go into my Cobalion, threatening out with a Volt Switch, as well as, basically threatening with a Volt Switch. Decide to go for the Stealth Rocks, helpful for that Murkrow as well as Gyarados. Get some chip off onto some things. Expecting to be able to live a Life Orb Thunderbolt. If she decides to go for it, I decide to stay in and go for the close combat. And if she goes for the Volt Switch, I could get some information with the close combat. Since nothing on our team really likes to take it, except for maybe the Gyarados, which I could easily outspeed and Volt Switch out. And she decides to go into Scissors, which gives me information because that close combat damage was pitiful. This tells me she has a lot of HP and defensive investment, most likely max. Knowing that, I decide to switch out, expecting maybe a Bullet Punch or U-turn to try and knock out my Cobalion if it is possibly banded, or for her to go for the Roost, and that is what she does. And now I have my Darman, and with this now, I am fine going with a Flare Blitz, because even if she brings in Heatran, I still have my Miltank and my Lottie to be able to switch in to it, which is fine. As she goes into Murkrow, and I take that out. So that is fine by me, already one down. And then she goes into Dugtrio, which is kind of a crazy play. I'm assuming it was either to try and force me to go for another Flare Blitz and get the Flash Fire boost off of Heatran, or maybe that this was Scarfed itself. But no, she just stays in and gets knocked out. Probably miscalced her Murkrow, thinking I was banded, since it was probably most likely max HP, max defense. You violate it. Was a roll in my favor to knock it out, but not guaranteed with the rocks. But that means I do not have to worry about this thing trapping me, which is real good. And now that Heatran is back in, expecting maybe rocks, I go into my Latios, which can defog it away, as well as start firing off Thunder Waves to start paralyzing things. And she goes for Toxic. Was kind of expecting the Scissor to come in there, but this being paralyzed is fine, as I will now just defog this away, as I will then get rid of Rock, since they're more of a hindrance to me than her at this point. And yeah, I go for the Thunder Wave to paralyze this. Hopefully get some full paras on it as she starts Sword Stancing, which is really scary. And then I go for the Wish, and hope for some more paras. Unfortunately not. And then I switch into my Darm, hoping for a full para. Still no full para, which is unfortunate. 4 turns of para, 3 on this and 1 on the Heatran. No paralyze, which is unfortunate. Forced to go for HP Fire here to possibly knock out the Scissor, as she just goes into the Heatran, which is fine, because I'll just go back into Lottie to defog away possible rocks. And still no para, which is like, why you do this to me, game? And just defog that away as I take a flash cannon. Go for the wish here, hoping to get knocked out by another flash cannon, possibly so that I could get it into my Cobalion. Fortunately not. Go for the defog to try the same thing to be able to get into my Cobalion with the wish. Unfortunately not. Ugh. Such a pain. Right here, just go into Cobalion, expecting rocks, but it is para. Now there's a para. Okay, thanks game. And then I get a close combat. Does not knock out, surprisingly. And I was expecting to get knocked out here, but another para. Yay, now the paras are coming in. So just decide to go for the close combat and knock it out. This allows Jolteon to come in, not want to take damage with other stuff that are kind of important. I just let it go down to the Volt Switch. And then the Scissor comes back in. Go into my Rotom, go for the HP Fire. Not Blizzard, even though I was kind of expecting Jolteon because Blizzard would knock it out. And just wanted the chip to put it into range of a Blizzard. Go into my Lottie, just trying to sack this off now. And now that this is in, knowing I'll probably most likely go for a Sword Stance, I just go for Side Wave, which is a good chance of 3-shotting it if I get 100 each time. Which is middle ground. So I just need a 1 paralyze this next turn to be able to 3-shot it. Come on, paralyze. No paralyze, Roost. Gosh dang it. So at this point, just going to go for another Side Wave and hope for para to keep it in range of a Blizzard or Volt Switch from my Rotom, or at least Vitamin Z from my Togekiss. But unfortunately no para, and it's at full +2, which is really unfortunate. Gosh dang. Go into my Rotom Frost, expecting the para or the switch into Jolteon, which would be nice, and hopefully this should knock out, since it is max HP, max defense. Should knock it out, except it is Akka, which is 4th. Goes for the superpower because Bullet Punch would not knock me out. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, in my calcs from this match, not paralyzed, which is also unfortunate. Gosh dang, paras, why aren't you being more help? And that's basically game, since I don't really have anything that wants to take a Thunderbolt from the Jolteon. Go for the Air Slash, knowing it can knock it out. As she tries to go for Bullet Punch to possibly knock out my Togekiss. And then she just brings in Jolteon. Thunderbolt takes me out. As I am left with Miltank, which I will click EQ. As she goes for the Thunderbolt, knock out this Jolteon. Hopefully that I could parastall this Gyarados. Now with Thunder Wave, after it tries to knock me out with it, and then Milk Drink up. Unfortunately, she does have Sub, which is a good bring on her part, which means I cannot Thunder Wave, Milk Drink stall this out. As she now just sets up with Dragon Dance. And I cannot break this up. Maybe should have brought Seismic Toss instead of Return. That probably would have been the better play, and then Fire Punch would have made a lot of sense. And yeah, lost this match 1-0. And then, yeah, but at least it was a better battle than last week where I choked. And if this pattern continues where I keep on doing better, I will win and hopefully make playoffs. Next week is the final week with this draft, so expect some fun stuff with that. And next week we are going up against Igai, and hopefully we can pull out a W for that match. So catch you next week for that. Bye bye.